Hi, welcome. My name is Vivek Chauhan and this is going to be very first video lecture of the series which is named as Matrix Methods of Geometrical Optics. Before beginning the main topic, let us first recapitulate the basic meaning of word matrix and some words which are associated with this matrix. Okay, so the topic of this video is going to be matrix methods of geometrical optics. You have very first studied about the matrix in your 12th class. What exactly is the meaning by matrix? So let us first take a general look on the matrix. So as you know very well about the matrix is nothing but a rectangular array, a rectangular system of array in which there are some number of rows and some number of columns. Let's say this is a rectangular array having some numbers in the form of some rows. These are the rows and some columns. These are the columns. Let us assume these are the 1, 3, 1, 2, 4 and so on and so forth, m numbers of rows, and these are the 3, 1, 2, 3. They may be any number. So let's say these are n numbers of columns. So such rectangular kind of array is simply known as a matrix. Here m are the rows, n are the columns. As you also have some basic idea about the total number of a matrix, how many numbers are contained by a matrix, that can be simply defined as, if I multiply the number of rows to the number of columns, I will get the total numbers of elements. Number of elements in a matrix whose size is of m by n. This is simply read as m by n or m cross n. So this is the basic meaning by the term matrix. Now let us take and look on some associated terms which are going to be useful in this lecture, matrix methods of geometrical optics. So let us again take a look on formation of matrix. This one is first. Next one is matrix method. What is exactly the matrix method in geometrical optics? And there is coordinate of array, this can be written as also as paraxial array. Okay, next one will be translation matrix. And its determinant. So these are the 4 topics what we are going to discuss in this lecture. So all these 4 topics will be covered in this lecture, which is matrix methods of geometrical optics. So let us first know about how we can form a matrix if we are given some linear equations. Okay, so let us assume the equation, let's say x1 equals something, let's say a by 1 plus b by 2, and x2 equal c by 1 plus d by 2. These are the 2 equations which are linear in form, what we are given here. Now we have to generate a matrix associated with these 2 equations. Let's say this one is first, this one is second. Here y1 and y2 are the variables, and a, b, c, d, x1 and x2 are some constants. Okay, so how we can form a matrix associated with these two equations? First, we make such kind of rectangular array that will have these constant x1 and x2 in this way. Okay, equal. Now we form a matrix having these constants. Okay, so the constant of one equations a and b, they are respectively the coefficient of y1 and coefficient of y2, a and b respectively as. So let us first write a, the coefficient of y1, and p, the coefficient of y2. Do the same process for the equation 2. This is c, this is d. So this is what we have, a matrix of the constants or coefficients of variable having by these two equations. Now what about the variables? So the new matrix will be form of these two variables. These are y1 and y2. Now let us check this matrix formation is correct or incorrect. So I can multiply with this 2 by 2 matrix because it has 2 rows and 2 columns. 1, 2 rows, 2 columns. This 2 by 2 matrix with this 2 by 1 matrix. So as you know about how we can multiply two matrices. So this a times of y1 plus what? B times of y2. This is what we have the element of first matrix. Now the turn is for CD and for y1 and y2. Now I will write C times of y1, C times of y1 plus D times of y2, D times of y2. So these are the equations what I have respectively for x1 and x2. So this is a way how we can form a matrix when we have given some linear equations in two variables or in some more variables. This method can also be useful for some variables more than 2, 3 or 4. If there will be 3 variables, let's say y1 plus a y1 plus b y2 plus let's say c by 3, then another variable will be treated as here by 3, and the coefficient of that particular variable will be written as in the most front of b. Okay, so this is the process how we can write the matrix formation of the set of given equations. Okay, now let us take a look on matrix method, which is our topic of this lecture. So why we are using the matrix methods of mathematical tools in geometrical optics, as optics is a topic of physics and matrix is the topic of mathematics. Why we are using the tool of matrix as in optics? Because let us say as you have probably come across some situations in optics in which there are a lot of number of mirrors and lot of number of lens. Maybe it possible? Then how? Let's say there is a system of optical phenomena or optical experiment. Let's say these are the number of convex mirror which are assigned as here. Okay, and there is a object which is standing here, and here lenses are 4. Okay, there may be a lot of number greater than 4. Okay, there may be 50,000 and more number of them. So in order to form the final image of this particular object, we have to apply some basic rules of refraction. If they would be mirrors, so we will use the reflection methods. Now if I am forming the image of this object with this one, that one and all the coming lenses, then that process will be more laborious. That process will be more complicated and difficult, because when I take this ray here, let's say this ray is this object is somewhere here, such that its image is formed at this point. Okay, now this image will be treated as object for this lens, and now this will be created its image as here. Now again this will be treated as the object for this mirror, it will create its image as here. Similarly, this is treated as object for this lens, and this will form its image at some point. Now you can see how much time I have taken to form this final image of this object by using simple laws of refraction. Okay, so this is some complicated and difficult process and some laborious process. This takes so much time to generate the final image of a particular object crossing the number of lenses or mirrors. So that's why to get rid of these difficulties to formation of the final image of an object, we use matrix method. Matrix method is just quite simple. How? So first we have to find some coordinates of rays to use the matrix method. So now let us take the first look on the matrix method. For this, you should have two things. Now I am talking about the coordinates of ray. In order to find the matrix of a system of optical system as a ray, I have to need coordinate of rays. Okay, and what are the coordinates of the ray? So I am talking about coordinate. So okay, how we find the coordinate of a ray? Let us take a general phenomena. Okay, let's say there is a ray which is coming from an object and going in a homogeneous medium. Let's say this is homogeneous medium. Okay, let's say this ray is PQ. These are the 2 points P and Q on this ray, and let's say this is the principal axis for this phenomenon. Okay, now the coordinates of the ray are simply the distance of a particular point from the principal axis. Let's say if I talk about the coordinate of this point P. Okay, let's say this point P is here and this point Q is here. If I talk about the coordinate of this point P of this ray, then I will have this distance. Let's say this distance is nothing but y1. Okay, and the angle which is made by this ray at this point P with the principal axis. So if I talk about the angle, so angle will be, what is the angle made by this ray PQ with this principal axis? Let's say this principal axis is x and x this angle is this one. Let's say this is alpha 1. Okay, so alpha 1 is the angle made by the ray PQ with this principal axis. Okay, so and here y1 is the perpendicular distance of this point P on this ray from the principal axis. Now the set of the 2 points here, one is what? Distance, perpendicular distance, and what? Angle. And what is this angle? This angle is the angle made by the ray with the principal axis. So the set of the perpendicular distance and the angle is simply known as the coordinate of a point on the ray. So in this situation, the coordinate of this point P on this ray will be what? y1 comma alpha 1, because y1 is the perpendicular distance of point P with this principal axis, and alpha 1 is the angle made by this ray PQ at this point P with the principal axis. So this is what we have the coordinate and how we can find the coordinate of a particular point. You know very well what are the paraxial rays. Paraxial rays are those rays, these are some special kind of rays. Paraxial rays are those rays which make a small angle with the principal axis. Okay, if I draw a number of rays, let me draw here. Let's say I am drawing here. Let's say these are the lot of these. This is the principal axis and these are the rays. Okay. Now you can see here, this one ray, this is second, this is third, this is fourth. Now the ray 1 making an angle with this principal axis which is very greater. Similarly, this angle made by this ray 2 is also very greater angle. Similarly, the angle made by this ray 3 is also a greater angle. What is the angle made by this spot 3 with this principal axis? This is a very minute angle. So such kind of rays which make a small angle with the principal axis are termed as, are referred as paraxial rays, which are just like parallel to the principal axis. So para-axial, which are parallel to the axis. Okay, these are simply known as paraxial rays. In this complete course of matrix method geometric optics, I will take only and only paraxial rays, and this method is only applicable for the paraxial rays, not for the other rays. Okay, so this is the process how we can find the coordinate of this point. Now if I am interested to find the coordinate of this point Q, then I will have this distance, this is, let's say this is y2, and the angle, this angle, let's say this is alpha 2. So the coordinate of point Q will be what? They will be y2 comma alpha 2. Okay, so this is the process how we can find the coordinate of a point on the ray. Now let us turn towards translation matrix. Okay, before begin this topic, let us first take a general look on such kind of medium which is non-homogeneous. The basic fundamental characteristic of a homogeneous medium is that these angles are just equal, because a ray coming from an object goes without deviation from one point to another in a homogeneous medium. So these two angles are equal here. If this is not so, then what will happen with the coordinate? So let us take a general look on such kind of medium which is changing. So let's say this is the principal axis, and here this is one medium having some refractive index mu1, and this is the another medium having refractive index mu2. And let's say this is the ray which is coming from some point and falls on this point, and that let's say mu2 is greater than mu1, then this medium is denser than this medium. So this ray will move towards the normal. Let's say this ray is PQ, this point is P, this point is Q, and this point is R. This is the initial path, this is the final path. Now we have the 3 points. Okay, here P, Q, R. I can treat P as a point which is taken on this ray in one medium. Okay, and this point Q is the point which is on the boundary of the medium. So I will need the coordinate of these 2 points P and Q. So I will have some distance of this point P and the distance of this point Q from the principal axis. So let's say this is distance y again, this is distance y2 in medium. Next, let's say this angle is alpha 1 made by this ray at point P with the principal axis, and let's say this angle which is made by this ray with the principal axis is alpha 2. So the coordinate of point P will be y1 alpha 1, and coordinate of point Q will be y2 and alpha 2. Just remember, the point P is taken on the second medium, in the second medium, sorry, and this is for first medium. Right, so this is how we can find the coordinate of the points, whether they are in same medium like in the earlier case, or whether they are in different mediums like this one case. Okay, now let's move towards the translation matrix. So what exactly the meaning by translation matrix? Let's study about the translation matrix. So our topic is translation matrix. Now I will form a matrix for the translation of a ray. Okay, so again I can take my previous example in which this is the principal axis. Let's say this is x and x dash, and there is some ray which is coming from a point. This is the ray. I am talking about translation, so this is only one homogeneous medium. I am writing it here. Homogeneous medium. Okay. So there will no difference between the angle on the different points on this ray. Now I am treating this ray as P and Q. So these are the 2 points P and Q on this ray in one medium. Now let us take the distance of these 2 points from the principal axis. Let's say this distance is nothing but y1 because it is towards the y-axis, and this distance is, let's say this is y2. Okay. Let's say this point from the origin, where this origin is x1, this distance is x1 from this origin, and this point, let's say this is point P dash. Okay, just down, just bottom of the P. This point, let's say this point is Q dash, and the distance of Q dash from the origin, let's say this is x2. So what about this distance P dash Q dash? This will be Q2 minus, sorry, x2 minus x1. So distance will be x2 minus x1, and let me give this another name as x. So this is the distance between P dash and Q dash. Okay, this is PQ distance as x. Okay. Now let me write here the angle made by this point P with the principal axis. Let's say this is alpha 1, and this angle is, let's say this is alpha 2. Okay. For the convenient, I will have use of this distance also. So let's say this point is something, let's say this point is L here. Okay, this point is L here. Okay. Now I have to find the matrix for this translation ray. Then I will have what? y1 and y2, alpha 1 and alpha 2. Okay. So what about the relation between the alpha 1 and alpha 2? As you can see, I have already told you, this is a homogeneous medium, so there will be no change in the angle at any point on this ray. So alpha 1 and alpha 2 are equal because this ray will not deviate in course of its motion from a point to the another point. So the angle alpha 1 and alpha 2 are equal. So we have first thing, alpha 1 equals to alpha 2 or alpha 2 equals alpha 1. This is first equation. Okay. Now what about y1 and y2? So in order to find the value, okay, this is y2 here. Okay, I can take y2, this complete distance q and q dash, in the addition of ql plus lq dash. Again, qq dash is equal to the ql plus lq dash. So lq dash is nothing but this y1. I am writing this here, y1. What about this distance q by 2? Q by 2 can be found from this triangle. This is the angle, and the side, this front of the angle is perpendicular. This is base and this is the angle. So the relation between the base and angle, because I have the base, this is x, and this is perpendicular, is from tan theta or cos theta. So in triangle, P L Q, tan alpha 1 will be QL divided by PL. Okay, so QL divided by PL, and QL is nothing but, okay, I have to find the value of QL. So QL will be tan alpha 1 into PL. So QL, what is the value of PL? PL is nothing but this x. This is x. I am writing this here. And as I have already told you, these are the paraxial rays. And what are the characteristics of the paraxial rays? first characteristic of the parallaxal rays are the angle made by the parallaxal rays with the principal axis are very small. They are very, very small. So here, as alpha 1 angle is very small, so I can treat tan alpha 1 as equals to alpha 1. Okay. So I am not writing the tangent of the alpha 1. I am writing simply as alpha 1 here. So this is the QL. So this is QL. Okay. Now I have to find the value of y2. What is y2? As I have already told you, y2 is the sum of QL plus LQ dash. So y2 is QL plus LQ dash. Okay. And what is QL? What I have already found as here, x alpha 1. This is x alpha 1. And what about LQ dash? LQ dash is nothing but y1. This is y1 here. So this is going to be as y2. So I have the equation for y2. This is the first coordinate of this point Q, y2. And what is the second coordinate of this point Q? This is alpha 2. Because the total coordinates system of a particular point on the rays, the distance and the combination with this angle. So this is a y2. This is for distance. And what about the angle? Angle is alpha 2. And what is the equation for alpha 2? Alpha 2 is nothing but equals to the alpha 1 from the equation number 1. So alpha 2 equals to alpha 1. So I am writing it here. Again I can write, okay, in this here, okay. To give some good expression for this equation, I can write here x times of, okay, this is 1 and this is x times of 0. Okay, so this is how I can write these two equations. Now if I form the matrix of this these two coordinates, then what I will have, I am writing the matrix here. I am writing the matrix here. So this is for the translation. So translation matrix will be for y2 and alpha 2, y2 and alpha 2, which will be equal to as what? This will be equals to as, okay, I am just changing the form of this equation. I am writing y1 as first, okay, y1 as first and x alpha 1 as second. So this is y1 here and this is x alpha 1. There is no change in the fundamental nature of this equation. Again I am writing this value as here as 0 x1 or alpha 1 into alpha 1. Okay, so what are the okay, let me write it as here. This is y1, okay, because the coefficient of y1 is 0, so this complete terms vanishes out. Now y2 and alpha 2 can be expressible as here. What are the coefficients of these variables? So the coefficient of y1 is nothing but 1 and the coefficient of alpha 1 is nothing but x. Okay, the coefficient of y1 from this equation is 0. The coefficient of alpha 1 from this term is 1. So this is the matrix for this equation having the variable both y1 and alpha 1, y1 and alpha 1. So this is the main translation complete form of matrix. Here you can easily see y2 and alpha 2 are the coordinate of the final point. This can be treated as output ray, okay, output point, and the y1 and alpha 1 are the points, are the coordinates of the point P, which can be treated as what? Input ray, okay, from, because at point P the ray was input, the ray was coming from the point P and going to the Q. So this point as termed as input point, this point as termed as output point. So this matrix is simply known as output matrix. This point is known as output matrix. This is output matrix. Okay, and y1 and alpha 1 is termed as input matrix because these are the coordinates for the point P, and point P is the input point. So this is the input matrix. And the ray has come from input point to output point Q in the course of its translation from point P to Q. So with this matrix is simply known as translation matrix. This is translation matrix. In symbolical form, there is this matrix. Let's say this equation is 2. This equation can be written as output matrix. So I am writing this as here OM, where O is standing as output and M is for matrix, and this is translation matrix. This is as TM. Translation matrix multiply with the input matrix. So this is IM. So this is what we have, the translation matrix equation. If you are interested to find what exactly the matrix of translation, so this 1x01 is a translation matrix. Okay, I am writing this translation matrix as here. Translation matrix. This is TM equal, this is 1x01. This is a translation matrix what we have. So I can define, I can write this complete equation 2 in language as, you can see here, output matrix can be get out when I multiply this 2 by 2 translation matrix with the 2 by 1 input matrix, because the order of this matrix is 2 by 2 and the order of this input matrix is 2 by 1. Also the order of this matrix, which is output matrix, is 2 by 1. So I am writing this complete equation in the language as, so I am writing this matrix here. So translation matrix is equation as equation 2. So output matrix, okay, I am changing the color. Whose order is 2 by 1 equals to the product of translation matrix whose order is 2 by 2 with the input matrix whose order is also as the order of the output matrix. This is 2 by 1. As I have written there here, this is output matrix equal translation matrix multiplied by input matrix. So this is how you can find this equation, you can generate this equation, and also individually you can take out this translation matrix as 1x01. Just remember, the order of the translation matrix is of 2 by 2. Okay, sometimes its determinant is also asked in examinations. So if I found the determinant of translation matrix, so translation matrix is TM1x01. So its determinant will be that of TM will be as what? 1 multiplied by 1 minus 0 multiplied by x. So I will get here 1. So the determinant of the translation matrix is 1. What is the physical significance of the determinant of the this matrix is that ray was coming from point P and going at point Q. Okay, In some cases, the ray can be come from a particular medium having some refractive index, let's say mu1, as I have make you understand in the second diagram. Okay, so let's see. Okay, right, I am writing here, I am drawing the diagram here. So let's say this is the principal axis, this is the medium having refractive index mu2, and this is a medium having refractive index as mu1. Let's say this ray is coming from some point P and falling at this point Q and deviated it towards this R. So this is a medium having refractive as mu1, this is a medium having refractive index as mu2. Now in such kind of cases, when we will find the matrix for this consideration, I will get some values like that. How? In some cases, I will get its determinant as mu1 upon mu2. In the next one videos, I will find the matrix for this consideration also here, and the matrix determinant will be like this, mu1 upon mu2. This ratio is showing such one particular physical quantity, which is what? This is the refractive index of one medium from which the ray is coming to the refractive index of the second medium in which ray is going. So this is a change of variation of refractive index of two mediums which are taking out for these two rays. Let's say the first medium is air, so mu1 will be 1, and the second medium, let's say this is simple glass, so whose refractive index is 3/2, so this will be 2/3. So this is simply known as what? Absolute, the reciprocal of absolute refractive index. Okay, because mu2 upon mu1 is simply known as the refractive index of the second medium with respect to first, but here mu1 upon mu2 will be come out. So this is a reciprocal of the second medium, reciprocal of the second refractive index of the second medium with respect to the first medium refractive index. So this is how we can find the translation matrix. Our purpose for this lecture was to find the translation matrix, and this is done here. So in the next one lecture, I will find the same matrix but for the refraction or reflection kind of phenomena. So thanks for watching. Let's